Think I got a problem here with the audio. Alrighty, I think that's good. So this game is a little weird. It's not weird, but it's a little different. Okay, so I just got a safety right off the bat. This is a Football Fury. And it's a side view game. It's a little bit like Tecmo's Super Bowl. And I don't really quite understand it fully just yet, so I mean it's familiar enough. Well, it's like Tecmo Super Bowl, like I said. I'm kind of playing it like Tecmo Super Bowl, so who knows what's gonna happen. It's been a while since my last stream. Been working on a lot of stuff. God. Been working on a couple things. One of which is I've been working on some art for, well, it's really placeholder art, but it's art for my football game, which is still in very early development, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's been a very long time coming. I mean, I've been trying to make this game since, gotta turn that off. I've been trying to make this game since 2014, really. And I've wasted a lot of money. I mean, it's sad, really. Actually, that's one of the things that got me to go back to college was to get some experience in the programming classes. And I wasn't necessarily looking to complete a degree. I just wanted the experience for the programming classes. And once I got these classes done, I thought I was going to uh be able to make like a game. But the problem was that I'm not really the greatest programmer. I have a much I have a very high level view of projects, and so I think I'm better suited for project management and design compared to actually being, in the code making stuff work. I don't get a lot of satisfaction out of that. I mean, it would take me a very long time just to build something basic that someone else could probably whip up in no time. And so that's what kind of got me started on the idea that I probably need to find someone that can program for me. And that's kind of where the trouble started, because I've been through several developers, and some of these guys, I wouldn't even call them developers. I mean, they were probably more like, I mean, I hate to use a word, but they probably were just scammers, fraudsters, because there's no way that what they delivered to me was anything close to resembling a game. But I spent a lot of money on these people, and I won't tell you how much it's been, how much I've spent, but it's been plenty, plenty of money. And I don't really know exactly what to do at this point because I've been through so many developers, and most of them have just been flakes. They just disappear, or they're no longer interested in the project, or they just, you know, stop messaging me. I think part of it is because they don't always fully realize what it's going to take to build this game. And really my model of game design is really just simplicity over complexity. But I think I might have found somebody that will be up for the challenge, but I guess only time will tell. But just to give a little bit of insight into what the game is, it's more of a football RPG game. So so there's still gonna be it's gonna be more like an RPG game. It's still gonna be football and live action, like arcade style. But there's gonna be a lot of RPG elements, and it's gonna focus on the career mode. And the career mode is gonna take you through, as a coach, through high school, college, and professional football. And it's gonna be more like a living football world. And I want it to be to where no playthrough ends up being the same every time. That play clock just seems way too short. The throwing mechanic in this game is kind of interesting. It's like a kicking meter basically. See, when I'm ready to throw the ball, I decide the power by pressing the button right where I want it, where the meter is filled up. I don't think there's too many football games that are like that. I like the art in the game though. I think it has like a 3D early 3D view with 2D sprites. There's a touchdown right there. That's sort of a weird kicking mechanic. You can't even see where the field goal is. I guess this is the halftime show. I'll let you guys decide. Is it better or is it worse than Tecmo Super Bowl? This is a very invigorating, enlightening halftime show. I'm assuming that it's going to end on its own. They don't even show you like any stats or anything like that. All right, I think we're done. Very nice, ladies. Thank you. And it's a shank. I'm not quite understanding the tackling yet. Then you can't move before the play, which I actually don't mind that much. And he runs right in. Okay. I actually don't mind that much that you can't move before the play. I don't know if any of you have ever played all pro football. I'm sure you have. But I guess this would be true in any football game. People can come up with some real cheese by moving the players pre-snap. I know that there's this one guy. I forget his username, but back when I would play on the 360 a lot, when you would go for like a like a field goal, didn't matter if it was an extra point or an actual field goal, you would try to kick it, but before the snap, he would move the, I don't know if it'd be like the nose guard, or he would put one of the defensive linemen or two of the defensive linemen right next to each other, and hopefully I don't get a safety here. He would adjust them just right, and he would dive them right when you would hike the ball, and it would knock over one of your linemen, and he'd, it's like 99% of the time, someone could run right through the line right when you start off. And so he could block your kicks like pretty much every single time. It was very rare that he couldn't. And this guy just felt like, like there was no problem with him doing that. I guess part of it is, you know, all pro all pro football lets you do it, so why not play with the best strategy? Which, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I like to play actual football and not just cheese it out. So, and you can kind of do stuff like that a little bit in other football games, but it was all pro football that that's the only game that I've ever seen that actually had that problem where you could exploit it almost every single play. And there were a couple other ways you could exploit the game. Like on kickoffs, I'm getting my ass kicked. On kickoffs, if you as the kicker kick the ball inside the 10 or the 20, I think, off towards the right side, or I guess anywhere that's close to the sideline, the way that the AI would take your kick returner to the ball, it would be it would have it to where your kick return guy, the AI would control him in such a way that he would run out of bounds every single time. And so, people think they're being, clever or whatever when they kick the ball in the exact right spot to where it exploits the AI on your side of the ball. And then next thing you know, get off me. Ah, shoestring tackle. They would exploit it to where you would run out of bounds. And so you'd have to start out at like the 5 or the 10 or the 8 or whatever it was. But there's like different ways that people would cheese the game, and I always hated playing with people that would do that. Not to mention that you could also export your teams into an editor, like a team editor for all pro football, and you could not only change the player ratings, but you could change the size of your players, and you could make them just humongous, like 8-foot guys. Oh my god. We're gonna have to go for it. You could make them these huge guys that are like 7 or 8 feet tall, and people would play games like this. And some people, I remember at least one player, this one user that would always have his running backs be like 300 or 400 pounds, and it was just like obviously something was off. But to him, he wasn't doing anything wrong. He thought he was fixing the game. But just different stuff like that is annoying. I guess it just feels like they're cheating. Uh, and touchdown. I like that this game is not licensed. Like the NFL is cool and all. At least like early NFL, like 90s, 80s, 70s. Like that's nostalgic. Modern NFL, not so much. But I like that it's unlicensed. I know that the marketability for unlicensed football games or just sports games in general is pretty little to none because people are so attached to licenses. At least nowadays. I mean, back in the day, you were kind of lucky. It was kind of a big thing to have a license, but nowadays people expect it, which is weird. But I like that this game is unlicensed because there's things you can do in a football game, in an unlicensed football game, that you can't do in a licensed football game. The reason for that is if you're going to get a license from the NFL, you can't just take the teams and the players and then think that you can do whatever you want with it. No, you have to abide by rules and things that different things that the NFL is going to want you to follow. One of those things is like injuries and concussions and big hits. For some reason, the NFL likes to pretend like they don't play football, or at least they don't want to highlight the fact that people can get really hurt in the sport. Which you would understand why, a big company would want to minimize, the worst aspects. Should have kept running. You'd understand why they want to minimize the worst aspects of their product. That's understandable, but at the same time, you don't want to neuter the reality of the sport and showing injuries and showing brutal injuries. That's all part of the game. And so there's not really anything like that in this game, but did I get it? No. Is that the end of the game? Oh, yeah. You see, they should have this in the halftime show. This is actually really cool. Password. I feel like they should put like these stats on the screen there. I know they didn't really have the technology to have replays, but if nothing else, they could have stats, maybe an MVP, or maybe they could save the replay for one or two big game plays and then just replay them here. I don't know. But any time, especially an unlicensed game, but just anytime any football game in general tries to create like a Sports Center ESPN type atmosphere, I think it is a good thing because I mean, I'm very nostalgic for the the old 2K football games, because especially 2K5, but they did the presentation flawlessly. I mean, it's harder to get any better than that, especially for its time. And anytime a game doesn't have that, it always feels like a step down. So, um, but that's gonna be it for this stream. I just wanted to play a little bit of Football Fury. Um, there's a lot of football games out there for the Super Nintendo and other consoles that I'll be playing. Um, just whenever I get the chance. But stay tuned. Stay tuned for that if you're interested. Until then, I will see you in the next one.